just going to take a couple minutes to review some of the details about the conference because it's my first time here. Is it y'all's first time here? Yeah, because this is the very first thegeekconf, am I right? Yeah? We are making history. Give it up for yourselves for showing up. And we are so caffeinated and energized that we just don't know what to do with ourselves. Welcome to the founder of GeekyAnts, Sanket!
Yes.
I'll give you this back.
Yes.
All right. I'm pretty stoked for this day. Are you stoked?
I'm very, very pumped to see everyone.
It's amazing.
Yes, yeah, super excited.
All right, leave it to you. Everybody
Thank you
give
so
it up
much.
for Sanket!
Hey everyone, good morning. Good to see happy faces, all of energy, yeah? I need to figure out the technicalities again, so. All right, hey, so that's me if you're trying to figure out who this guy is on Twitter. So that's my DP on Twitter. I'm Sanket Sahu, and I hope to match the energy what Anjana has, what she left the energy on. So I'm Sanket Sahu. I run this company called GeekyAnts. And you might know us from our React Native ecosystem, maybe with nativebase, UI component library in React Native. These days, we have renamed it to gluestackui. And I also happen to run and co-organize React Native Bangalore meetup group, which is one of the largest. And as a part of this, as a part of the story to extend it as the next step of React Native Bangalore, we are here at the GeekConf. Yes? All right. And this is the caravan and camper van what Anjana was talking about. So I built this in the past 2 years, 2.5 years, and did a lot of interior work, and along with one of the definitely vendors. This is an off-grid caravan where this is back in India, by the way. I'm from Bangalore. Yeah, this has everything. This is a fully off-grid caravan with sleeping, eating, internet, and you get to work, see the mountains, see the beaches, and whatnot. So yeah, so that's about it. And today, to set the context of this conference, I'm going to talk about the state of React Native and how it relates to the modern web. Although React Native started as like native Android and iOS library, but now it's like everywhere. So let's look at the numbers. React Native by numbers. I went to NPM trends and tried to figure out the weekly NPM downloads of the React Native library. So what you see on the screen is around 2020, it was a little under 500K weekly NPM downloads. And if we move to 2 years later, 2022, it was around 750K. And where we are at today, any guesses? So we are at whopping 2.28 million weekly NPM downloads. That's huge for a mobile app library. And not just that, I mean, we keep hearing like surprising facts on Twitter, on Reddit. And this is a tweet by my friend Harry, who I've known from the early days of React Native. He says he was surprised that even Kindle uses React Native. And then Mike had to say something like there is so many wow moments yet to be discovered when it comes to companies using React Native on their custom hardware. I don't know what he's talking about, but probably in a few days you'll get to know. Great. Look at Evan's tweet where he keeps doing it every month. So in the month of May 2024, top 100 apps, 100 business apps in the App Store, out of 126 uses React Native in some extent, maybe brownfield, greenfield, but it has the React Native library in the bundle, which is amazing to see. And what we have seen recently in the past, I think 1 year or so, React Native, the core team, they recommend using a framework, just like the counterpart of React on the web, like how Next.js is now the recommended way of building things. We have a framework approach. And this started with an RFC in a very standard way, like how we should have frameworks on top of React Native as a library. And now we see it in the official documentation, like on the very landing page of reactnative.dev, you see like get a head start with the framework. And obviously it's Expo, because Expo has been there for a really long time. And the community around React Native has been growing massively. I have a few examples. So this is, again, my community friend. We used to work together. This is Nishan. Nishan keeps pushing things to the core of React Native, and he's just an individual somewhere in India or somewhere in the world, and pushing things to the core of React Native, which has an impact like to billions of apps and devices, which is amazing. So this is an example of how he pushed gradients recently. This was, I think, just last week or so. He made it possible to have gradients in React Native core. Before that, he also pushed the rotation and transform origin, which maps to the CSS equivalent available on React Native and on all the platforms. Not just that, he has also done something on translate percentage and flex cap, and it goes on and on. This is just one guy. There are like umpteen number of examples. For example, Nick, he contributed to the core of React Native on Android, where he implemented box shadows, which was missing. I think he's still working on it, but we have got some examples up and running. And I just try to like bring and download all the contributors. Not all, but I think the top contributors to the React Native core library. You might see some familiar faces. Might spot yourself, maybe, in the grid. And this goes on. And huge shout out to everyone who's contributing to the ecosystem, to the core. Yeah, needs a round of applause, I guess. Yeah. Just to be fully transparent, I use this API so that don't come back to me that you didn't showcase me. And this grid that you saw, it was generated by ChatGPT, because I asked ChatGPT to show the top contributors and just ran the HTML file and took the screenshot. So yeah, that's about the core contributors. Not just individuals. There are companies now getting into the world of React Native. We know that it was started by Meta, but we have seen good adoption by Microsoft. And now Amazon, you can see the showcase page of React Native and how Amazon is using React Native. Then we have this project IDX, which is a code editor, in-browser code editor, built by Google. And now we have full-blown support of React Native. So it's not just like one company. It's like something that is an actual community project, and that is what I love about React Native. I love this tweet. So last week we had Chain React in Portland in the US, run by our friends at Infinite Red. This tweet says, it takes a village. And then when all the companies come together, then it becomes something. But I think we missed a few of the logos. Let me add a few. So we have all these companies, and I'm pretty sure I've missed another set of companies again. But when everyone comes together, it is called, I mean, it's meant to be great, something like React Native. Yeah, so let's look at the updates of React Native, the latest version, the 0.74. It comes with Yoga 3.0, which, again, moves it closer to the web API. The first one is, you might have used row reverse, which behaves differently on web and React Native. Now it's the same. When you flip it, you still use margin left, and it is margin left. Then we have space evenly, and then static as position. These are available in the latest version of React Native. We have bridgeless by default. We have been talking about the new architecture for a long, long time, and now this is the default in React Native core. So if you spin up a new React Native or Expo project, you get bridgeless by default, which is amazing for more performance. Then we have on-layout batch updates for better performance. What we are looking at is, as we are moving forward with React Native, we have more web standards that we are trying to adopt. And that's why we call it React Native is moving in the direction of modern web. We have seen something really fascinating by the Meta team, browser-like APIs in React Native, and that's React Strict DOM. So earlier, even today, if you have to use React Native on web, we have got React Native Web. So it's like React Native first API being used in the browser. But the core, the foundation of React Native lies on the web. Why to do it like twice? So React Strict DOM flips the game. So you get all the HTML APIs and web APIs on React Native, and it works everywhere. Here's a quick example. This is by Nader. You can now build mobile apps with HTML. And this is not like Ionic, not like web views, but this is more like you get full native mobile apps with the knowledge that you already have of HTML, CSS, or maybe React for web. And this is amazing. And this comes with Stylex, which is a CSS and JS sort of library. This is a styling system that powers Instagram, WhatsApp, Facebook.com. All these are run with a styling engine called Stylex. And this comes with React Strict DOM, much closer to the web APIs. We have more RFCs that align with the web. If you look at, say, RFC 0744, this talks about how we can bring event loop, the processing model that we have on the web, more closer to React Native. And we have seen brilliant examples. I'm not sure if you guys had a look at AppJess conference, the talk about the SpaceX and Starlink app. So what you see on the screen is 100% React Native. The 3D model that is rendering, that's being rendered with Three.js, Expo.gl, and a bunch of React Native code. So we can render 3D model for sure. And not just that, if you look at this example from the same app, which scans the sky and then locates these satellites so that you set up your Starlink device at the right position, right angle, and you can do it with your phone. And this is all built using JavaScript on top of like native app. So this again uses Expo.gl, WebGL, and even like it renders the whole sky hemisphere sort of thing on your phone, which is truly amazing to see something like this in React Native. And this is cross-platform. Great. And talking about like rendering 3D models in React Native, we had Mark from Margello team. Just 2 weeks back, I think he announced reactnativefilament, wherein you can just bring in a 3D model and render on screen across web, native, and which is truly amazing. In just 47 lines of code, this is actually bringing in a model from an HTTP request and then rendering on your device. And with gesture handler, you can actually rotate this device. Truly amazing. And on top of that, William at AppJessConf also announced Web GPU, which is a very recent standard on the web to make use of GPUs. And he came up with this example at the conference, wherein it's using the GPU inside a React Native app, and this works cross-platform. You can imagine like where it's all going. This is truly marvelous. And not just that, we're not just rendering on the screen, but also inside a whole AR/VR experience. Oscar is going to talk today about, he has spoken a lot about React Native Vision OS. So we have the bindings of Vision OS available, and we can render 3D models inside the Vision device altogether. And then we have IDE and tooling. For example, Dan came up with Create Expo Stack, and then we had the biggest announcement of React Native IDE by AppJess, by Software Mansion at AppJess conference. You must go back and watch the talk where they announced React Native IDE, how we can trace back JavaScript and also native code. We can get down to the native code right from the JavaScript statement, which is really good to see. And it's very interactive. This is one of the best IDEs I've seen in a long, long time. Great. And then we have seen the rise of server-driven UI. We have a couple of talks lined up today on server-driven UI. The first one is the next talk by Mike and Eric, and they're going to talk about Rise tools. And we have also seen Evan Bacon talk a lot about server-driven UI in the form of, obviously, React Server components and how it can render truly native elements using server-driven UI, using our, React server components as well. And we have Tarun as well. He's going to talk about server-driven UI later today. Not just that, we have seen React Native everywhere on the web as well, and we call it universal approaches. I think Mo is going to talk about universal as well towards the end of today. And we have seen companies using it across different industries like Amazon, Instagram, Tesla, Pinterest. All these companies are using React Native and sharing code across native and web as well, which is truly amazing. And this is made possible with a bunch of tooling around universal approaches. One of those is Expo Router v3, which brings in the API of file-based routing to native mobile app development, which is really nice to see. Very similar to Next.js app router, you can say in some sense. And we have been using it. It's really nice to use something that runs everywhere and works on a file-based routing mechanism. And we have seen nativewind, the adoption of tailwind on React Native side. And it makes it very easy for anybody to learn tailwind and then write code that works on Android and iOS as well. We have used it a lot in the recent announcement of gluestackui, a component library that we built. This is a copy-pastable component library that works across web and mobile. And it is powered by Tailwind CSS and also works on Next.js and Expo. So if you use components from gluestackui, for example, it works on all the platforms. Great. And yeah, this is the landing page of gluestackui. Probably go and check it out. Great. And we have seen a lot of AI, Gen AI related things in React and React Native space as well. We've got Tejas speaking today with React plus AI, and also Simon, how he runs. OK, I'm not going to tell you about it, but it's something related to React Native and AI, and he has got a very cool demo coming today. And we had the survey of React Native 2023, State of React Native. I have got some parts of it in my talk, in my slides, looking at what navigation are we using. So Expo Router is on a rise. We have React navigation being very consistent out there. We have Salito as well. On styling side, we have got React Native Unistyle and nativewind on the rise. That's what we can make out from the survey. Take this with a pinch of salt, because surveys can be it can be in some sense biased, because the people who are taking the survey, they have voted for it. Not everyone in the community has voted for it. So take it with a pinch of salt, I would say. Then we have UI component libraries like Tamak UI, gluestackui, which are the new entrants. And the existing ones, obviously, React Native Paper and React Native Elements. Then we have seen the rise of React Native Skia, with William being at the center of the stage in 2D, 3D rendering with React Native. We have React Native Animated, Reanimated being used for animation, and I have some cool examples towards the end of this talk. For debugging, everybody is still using console logs. Come on. OK, there's a glitch. Should I do console log? OK, great. And then we have Flipper, Chrome DevTools, but I think we still do console.log 1111. I'm here, something like that. And ES is now being the well-adopted way of deployments. Then I have my favorite people in video creators like William, Theo, Simon, Cataline, Vadim. All these people are creating videos and educating people about React, React Native. There's a huge list. And then we have active people in the community, not video creators like Evan or Mark. And we have Jamin, Fernando. All these folks are making React Native what React Native is today. So yeah, and we have some pain points. This is your opportunity to look at the pain points, what everyone is facing in React and React Native space. This is mainly React Native. So obviously, we are using console log. That's why debugging remains the first pain point. Then we have unmaintained packages dealing with native code, keyboard handling. So if you want to contribute to React Native, probably this is your list. And then we have missing features as well, like Android shadows, better debugging, keyboard handling, and these things. So probably have a look at this and go back and contribute. Great. so what's the opinion from the React Native Survey 2023 that we got last year? The opinion is console.log and copy-paste is the future. Okay, I just made it up. OK, so React Native is moving in the right direction, and more and more people agree to that opinion. And so looking into the future, I think we'll see more growth on this side, and we'll see a lot of enterprise adoption. We have been working with a lot of enterprise using React Native. More stable, more reliable, and expanding platforms. So write once, run anywhere. I feel that's the future. That's my opinion. But bridging platforms and empowering developers is what React Native is doing today. To end my talk, I have got some nice tweets that shows you nice animations using React Native Reanimated and React Native Animated. This is by Enzo. This is Animate React Native by Cataline, my friend. And then we have another example. And I really love this parallax carousel. So this uses the gyroscope and then animates it on the screen. And yeah, a few more examples like parallax and slider. Is that pretty cool? No? And the final one, this is one of the apps that is built using Skia on top of React Native. So it has all those loaders and knobs and everything, which is really high quality and really good to see what we can do with React Native. Exciting? Yes. All right, that's it from my side. Thank you so much. Yeah.